Well, hello there, stamping friends. This is Traci Raether from Plum Crazy Stamping. So glad to be here today, July 1st, 2026, the month that we're going to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the United States. Can't wait for this July 4th weekend. I hope you have some awesome plans. I'm not sure what my plans are yet, but I'm sure I'll make some before the 4th gets here. Anyway, today is the day for our paper pumpkin workshop. And as you are joining me, please sign in the comments. Let me know your name and where you're watching from. If you're on YouTube, please make sure you're in your Google or YouTube account, and then you'll be able to use those comments as well. So if you have any questions as I am sharing this, please let me know. You can write those in the comments, and also any feedback on the project would be awesome. So let's get down to it. I am thrilled to be showing you. Let's get the, here we go. We can see our desktop. And this is the paper pumpkin kit I got in the mail. And this is the monthly subscription program through Stampin' Up. My husband buys me all 12 of these, an annual membership every year for a Christmas present, and it just keeps on giving every month. I love it. So this month, we're going to be doing the June 2026 kit. It's called Bikes and Blooms. And I have to tell you, looking at this, when I opened it, it so reminded me of being a kid. I don't know about you, but I had a pink banana seat bike that I absolutely loved when I was in elementary school. And the big white basket with daisies on it, so I could cart stuff around. And then once I got into junior high and high school, and actually for college, I kept it too. I had a yellow 10-speed. And I went all over the place with those bikes. So brought back a lot of great memories. That's what ended up inspiring me to make the alternatives for today's card. I couldn't stop, you guys. I have 4 different cards and a special 3D project that I'm going to be sharing as we go through today's workshop. First, we're going to do the 3 projects as they're designed by Stampin' Up. And then we're going to do those alternatives. And I hope they're as inspiring to you as I felt when I was making them. So let's just take a look what's in a paper pumpkin kit here. So it comes wrapped in tissue paper like a present. I'm going to take a peek at the parts and pieces. I've got our 3 projects already put together, so I'll just kind of put these things back in the box for another day. But look at the size and the gorgeous die cuts that are in here. So a portion of a bike, there's silver foil on this die cut. We've got another front with a big old basket and flowers that go on this one. And then we've got the whole bike here all set up. Looks like they're going to the library as far as I'm concerned. So we've got those. That's the actual card front. Then we have 3 different kinds of card bases. And I like that they're colored on the front and the back. A lot of times I cut them in half and use that to make extra cards. So we've got the yellow and we've got green. My dad had an olive green bike. And then we've got Calypso Coral. And then check out these other envelopes. Aren't they festive? With matching envelope flaps. Okay. Then we always get a Stampin' Spot. And this month it was Calypso Coral. I always save those for when I'm going to crops and to stamp camp. We got dimensionals, mini dimensionals, and mini glue dots. We've got twine or linen thread. And then a number of die cuts here for sentiment labels, here to make some 3D items by adding flowers. We've got some white pop outs here, or die cuts to do flowers. We've got another basket that's going to make it 3D on that bike, and some colored backgrounds and a few more die cuts. So lots of fun stuff going on with this kit. All right, let's get that out of the way. Plus, we always get at least one stamp set. And this one, I've already got all of my parts and pieces on my acrylic blocks. But they give you a picture of this, all the stamps that are included on the back of the instructions. And so you can actually either make a copy of this or cut this out to put with your stamp set. I keep all of mine in a recipe box. Then on the back, there's also a picture of all the things that you can find in your kit, as well as a list of coordinating colors. So they have basic black, calypso coral, crushed curry, lost lagoon, old olive, pecan pie, and silver. And then there's a QR code over here that if later you want to do this project, or perhaps there's a month where you're not able to catch my broadcast, then they actually will show you how to put that together. And full color instructions. So let's go ahead and get started with that. So we're going to open up right away to the first instruction for the first project. And I've got all those parts and pieces here in this envelope. So we'll set our envelope aside and we're going to go ahead and put this together. And I even like the card bases are scored. So let's get this scored, and I'll use my bone folder where they've provided that score outline. Then we're going to do some stamping. And since this is photopolymer stamps, we're going to use our Pierce mat or a foam cushion to help us get a better image. So we're going to take the we're going to have a lovely day here on this sentiment, on this label, I'm sorry. And then we're going to take the die cut that they've provided to actually stamp some flowers. So I am going to grab my Calypso Coral larger stamp pad to use for this. And we're going to get our things stamped for this card. So let's go ahead and we'll do our sentiment first. Have a lovely day. That seems like such a summer sentiment. All right, we're just going to center this right in the middle of this little label they provided for us. And then we're going to grab the flowers and we're going to then stamp those up and just line them up with the open areas on that die cut. All right, just set those stamps off to the side, and I'll set my ink off to the side too. And then we're ready to put together this first card. So let's see, I have to put some adhesive behind here first. So let's follow the instructions. They even give us the detail of putting the adhesive on here. If you see the little dots, those are the mini glue dots. If you see white circles, those are dimensionals. Okay, so we'll go ahead and use our mini glue dots first on the sentiment, which means we'll be putting that flat onto the card front. And we'll get the coverings off of these. All right, and then we're going to put some dimensionals on the back of the flowers in the basket here. And we're going to take off those covers. All right. And then we have some additional pieces that are going to go on here. So let's go ahead and just take off the adhesive coverings of those as well. It's a perfect day to be inside and doing a little paper pumpkin. It's over 90 degrees in Wisconsin, and I know there are a lot of you that are also having very extreme weather, high humidity, kind of ripe for storms. There's been some real dandies going through northeastern Wisconsin this morning. Didn't come as south as us at this point. All right. Did I get them all? Nope. Missed this one. All right. So let's go ahead and follow the directions and put these in place. So we're going to start by placing the colored die cut here. And then now we know why that we just put the mini glue dots on here because that's to connect that on top of there. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and line up our bicycle. Isn't this fun? I just love the foil. And then we'll put the double basket on here to make this very 3D that we stamped. All right, and then we've got the linen thread here. We've got 12 inches, and we're just going to make a bow with this. Hi, Betty. So we'll get those loops a little bit under control here. All right, and then I'm going to grab a mini glue dot here. And I'm going to take the the adhesive off of it, and just make it into a little circle that I'm going to put right on the knot of my bow so that I can attach it right to the basket here. And I think we'll do a little trim on our pieces here. Okay. And then we've got some butterfly embellishments. Oh, I put them back in the box. Here we go. They're actually silver ones this time to match the other silver foil. So let's get a few of these and put them on our card here. There we go. And we'll use 3 of them. All right, and there we are with the first card completed. Oh, I think that'd be a happy card to get in the mail. And then it's got its matching envelope. All right, let's go to card 2. And use this beautiful Calypso coral background and envelope. So we'll set that envelope off to the side, slide these down, give this a little crease. All right. And we've got the die cut. Let's do our stamping again. So we'll grab our mat again and put the 2 things that we're going to do our sentiment here. Get our ink pad. Now this time we're going to do best wishes. And line that up. Okay, and then we've got 3 times we're going to stamp this flower image. So let's do this. Kind of following the outline that's been left here to stamp this 3 different ways. Okay, that's done. Take that out of our way again. Now we have to put the adhesive on the back of these, and it's all going to be mini dimensionals. Oh, you know what I did? I stamped that on the back. Well, we're going to leave it on the back. Okay. There we go. We'll take our adhesive off here again. It's getting all sticky here. All right. I guess the way they showed us to put the adhesive on this die cut, they didn't want any chance that it was going to slide or not look flat on the top of our card. All right, let's go ahead and put this in place. So we've got first the die cut. Oh, and this is going to be landscape. We're going to line this right up at the corner. And then the bottom of the card. There we go. Ooh, that's pretty. That is one big die cut. And then we'll put the 3D basket on here. There we go. And then we have the best wishes. That's going to go right down here on the basket. And we're going to make another bow. Oh, and they said wrap it around the basket. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. We'll see if it'll go through. That's why this one was longer. Question is, can I make it come out the other end? Or is it getting all wrapped up in the... inside all of my glue dots here? I don't see it coming out the other end. All right, so much for that. We're not wrapping it around the basket. We're just making a bow. All right. And we'll do our little glue dot again to attach that. And we'll put this right on the edge there and then trim it up. is card number 2. Very fun. And that has its matching envelope as well. And it also has 3 butterflies on it. We better put the butterflies on here. Let's see, we're going to go way over here. Maybe. Hi, Kathy. Wet and warm Minnesota. Yeah. It is a little bit of that everywhere, isn't it? And let's see, are they putting a 3rd one on here? Looks like they did, but I can't see it. So guess what? We're going to put one where we want. Let's go right over here. All right, there. Now it's got a little bling. Okay. Ready for card 3. And this one in this beautiful yellow with a beautiful yellow envelope. And this one's also going to be landscape. Would you say you make more landscape cards or more portrait cards? When I'm thinking about this, I think I make more portrait, but every once in a while I'll make the landscape and I'm like, why don't I do this more often? Because I really like them. We'll get our Pierce mat here again so that we can make our sentiment label, and we have some flowers that we need to stamp on here, and I'm going to, let's see, do I have a little piece of scrap paper here? I do, in case it goes over the edge. Okay, and I think that's all we need to stamp. All right, so let's get our butterflies. Oh, good. We're going to stamp butterflies on the card front, too. And I need this flower back. Okay. So let's do that first. Get our ink in here. And let's see here. Line that up. All right, we've got our flowers. And get that out of the way. And then we need our butterflies on here. So we've got a double butterfly set. These haven't been conditioned, so I'm just going to stamp them off on that scrap paper till it takes the ink a little bit better. Okay. There, that seems better. And we'll stamp those 2 there. I like those little butterflies. And then we've got another one here, a single. Do that one up here. Okay. And now we have to do our greeting, which is thank you. Hi, Kelly. So you make more portrait too. All right, we've got our thank you. And we have to put we have some of our adhesive on here already. Let's go ahead and get some on our flowers. And these are all good to go. I liked the size of the sentiments in this set. Definitely a good size, to have in your stash. And, with thank you and best wishes, you can use them on so many different kinds of cards. That's always a bonus. There we go. We got that one. So I'll just remind any of you that if you haven't had a chance to see the card challenge or look at it or make cards yet, in the Plum Crazy Stamping Card Conversations Facebook group, which you just need to ask to join. If you make 4 cards, one design, and just change a little bit on each card so that they're a little unique, and then post it, you can get in a drawing for a card kit that's got 3 cards with a picture of how to make the cards from me in the mail. And I'll be doing that drawing Saturday morning and posting who won the challenge, and then I'll be getting the card kit in the mail to you. They're 3 very fun cards. They're actually the ones that are on the card challenge picture. Those are the cards that I'm sending the parts and pieces for you to make. So just a reminder that that's due by the end of the day Friday to qualify for that drawing. All right, so now we're going to put our card front on here, and I'm not putting the linen twine behind this one. I should have checked last time, right? Okay, and then we've got this one going over the wheels right to the edge here. Oh, but we do want to put our linen thread behind this part. So you see how they do this is they put a loop up, bring a loop down, put a loop up, and then they kind of have these hanging edges and then put them across that mini glue dot that's in the middle. And then we'll kind of hide that a little bit behind here. Okay, and we've got a little bit then of this as an embellishment hanging out here. Maybe put it a little bit more behind there. Same with this one and this one. There we go. Okay, that's kind of fun. And then we're going to add the thank you on top of this, right to the edge. Okay, and then we're going to add the basket, 3D die cut, and then the flowers on top of that. Okay, and then we're going to add our 3D thing on the back shelf here on the bike. And this time we stamped the butterflies, so we're not going to use the embellishments. So that's card 3. So Kathy, about 50-50 on portrait versus landscape cards. More portrait for Betty. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Anybody have an idea of why we think we do that? I don't know. I'm going to close my ink here and get ready for the alternatives. I can't wait to share them with you. All right. Well, that is such a fun kit. And I love the stamp set, that goes with this. So we've got 1, 2, and 3. So those are our 3 from the kit. All right. So now we're going to go to some alternatives. And so I decided this time I liked those cards a lot. So I didn't want to cut them up and do all of the things that I do a lot of times to make alternatives. I decided to use the stamp that we didn't use. And it's a bicycle. And this kit was called Bicycle and Blooms. So, you know what? I've been doing a lot of blooms lately. So I decided I'm just going to focus on this bicycle. And so then I thought, what am I going to do with a bicycle? Well, I don't know about you, but I have a lot of landscape paper. In particular, I have a lot of landscape paper that is 6x6. So I went scrounging and I found actually 4 different kinds of landscape paper that I wanted to feature. So let me show you first. I'm going to do, this one is Thoughtful Journey. So this one's kind of been around a while. And I liked this piece, but then I found the back of this piece. And what I was looking for was a piece that would be something I could stamp the bicycle on so that you would see through it. Okay, so it's like actually what it would look like in nature. And then when I got started, I was like, I don't know what color bicycles I want to make. So I made a whole bunch of bikes. So I took some basic beige and I stamped all different colors and cut them out. And then I started matching them up with papers and card bases and all that. Okay, so this is going to be card 1. And the first one I set on here was, this is boho blue or azure afternoon. Oh, I think this one's azure afternoon. And I thought that was just a little light. So I decided to take that off. And I'm actually going to use Misty Moonlight. And I'm going to make my card base and card front first. So I'm just going to make this a regular card. And so I'm going to just, score this at 4 1/4. Make sure I've got the scoring blade, not that cutting blade. Okay. So now we've got our card base. And now, we've just been having this chat about portrait or landscape. And I was actually going to make this portrait. But let me see if I can get enough sky on here if I do it landscape. Sure, I can. All right, so landscape it is. So let's cut this 4 inches high, which means I got to make the ground on the bottom here. All right, and just get rid of my scrap here. And then I'm going to make this 5 1/4. And I want to keep this area here that's the lightest to stamp my bike. So I'm going to turn this over and do 5 1/4. All right, so now there, I've got a nice card front. And I've got a card front that's light enough to actually stamp directly on it. So let's get our Pierce pad out here. And let's get our Misty Moonlight. I'm going to have the bike match the cardstock. You didn't have to do that, but I'm going to do it. Hi, Kim. Glad you made it. We're just getting into alternatives. And you'll be able to see the video for what we did with the kit cards. All right, so I am going to use this lighter spot as if it were a path. And that's where I'm going to put my bike. All right, and then I'm going to have to wash this here. Since I haven't been washing as I go along, I usually do that at the end. But there we go. Okay, we've got that washed. Now, I really decided to do Enjoy Your Day. And this one, I don't even have the sticker on it. So we'll pray that I do it straight. Not getting ink on the edge here. And I've decided to do these in more masculine colors because we always have such a challenge making masculine cards. And I liked that I could do this in blue. And I'm just going to leave this plain. Now, could you wrap some linen around there? You sure could, but I think this is just so pretty, just the way it is. Easy card. I don't know about you, but I kind of went a little crazy when this landscape paper came out. So this is the perfect stamp set to use a lot of these landscape designs. So kind of FYI, if you don't know what to do with them, let me make sure, yep, that's opening the right way. And we're just going to center this on here. And we've got a great card. Enjoy your day. Okay, so card one. And we'll set that aside. So then I went for card number 2. And let's just set these off of here. And isn't this pretty? Now, not using that side, using this side. This is from Beautiful Gallery. So all kinds of, there's landscapes, different kinds, different colors in here that I decided to use. Let's set that off to the side. And then I couldn't decide if I wanted to do this with peach or pecan as a background. And then I decided that this would fit. These hills are kind of going up. I like this. Life is full of ups and downs. Hold on tight. Now, this could be for girl, gal, whatever. So I decided to do an orange. This is Timid Tiger, this is Timid Tiger to set right here. And then I have the Life is full of ups and downs. Hold on tight. And then depending upon who you want to send this to, or we could do a double. Let's just do that to be a little different. We'll do a double thing for the card base here. Let's do the card base in, this is Peach Pie. So we'll just score this like the regular card. All right, this way. 4 1/4. Okay. And I think I'm going to do this one landscape. Maybe I'll do all landscape today. That'd be kind of wild. Card makers, what's fun? Oh, we're doing all landscape cards today. Okay, so then I'm going to cut this to be 4 inches by 5 1/4. Let me do 5 1/4 this way. And 4 inches this way. Okay, so we've got our card front. And then this time, we're going to make our layer. If I refer to my handy dandy little thing here, here's the full card front. Here's the card front I just did out of pecan pie. So now I'm going to do 5 by 3 3/4. So let's see, 3 3/4. I want to make sure I have some sky left here. And I think I'm going to keep this side that's lower. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, because this is going to be 5 inches across. I'm going to cut this high side off of here. Although, yeah, I'm going to cut the high side off. So let's first make this 5 inches. And now I have to figure out 3 3/4. So that's taking too much sky off. So we're going to do it this way. 3 3/4. Let's see. I'm going to take, because I have 2 1/4 to take off overall. Let me just take an inch off. I like where the bike is going to go here, though. Let's take off 3/4. And we can always change our mind. Okay, so now we're going for 3 3/4. And do we like how much sky we have? Sure, that's going to be fine. All right, and there we've got that card. Put those scraps over here. We have our orange bike. I guess we see a little bit of the path there yet. And then we want our hold on tight, because life is full of ups and downs, right? So this one, I think I'm going to stamp in pecan pie, because that'll show up and it'll match one of the layers. So I can do this right on the card. Don't need a label. And I'm going to test this, because I don't know when the last time is, or if I have used this stamp. Oh, nice and clear. Okay. Let me just wipe the very edge of that. Okay. Here we go. Okay, and we're going to do Life is Full of Ups and Downs. Hold on tight. There we go. I got to tell you, I have so much fun looking through my stamp sets that have sentiments, trying to find something, that matches. All right, so this one now, we're just going to layer it up. I haven't used peach pie in the coon's age. It's been like forever. I forget sometimes it's in there. I don't go in the direction of peach a whole lot, and then I'll kind of go on a little, like, oh, I found it. I like it again. Kind of like in doing landscape, ladies. Not sure why I don't do it a little more. All right, and I want this bike to pop. So let's go ahead and use dimensionals. Can you see why this was so much fun? I was like, wow, how often do I get a bike to use? Not enough. Now I need a teeny tiny piece to do the skeet. Okay. I hope it's teeny tiny enough. Let's see. Now you can see it a little bit, but not bad. Let's see if I can get these off. I have absolutely no fingernails right now between weeding and gardening. I have totally wrecked my hands right now. All right, that one doesn't want to come on. All right. And I'm going to put this right along this front edge. And then I would definitely incorporate my scraps onto the inside of this card, but we're not going to worry about that. But there is card 2 using that bike. So we've got 1 and 2 done. All right, now let's look at the third opportunity. More fun landscaping paper. Hopefully you have some of this in your stash and you were like, what am I going to do with this? And we've answered that question. Okay, so this one is called New Horizons. So I think this might be the oldest one of all. And these were just beautiful. Oh, there's purples and all this. And I know you guys are probably surprised I didn't pick this, but it didn't kind of have what I had in my head about what I wanted to do here. So the one that I ended up picking, now one of the ones I saw was this one, but that seemed a lot like, you know, this one that we already did. So I thought, nah, too much alike. So then I flipped it over, not that one. I found another sheet and checked that out. Oh my gosh. Now, does that scream Switzerland to you? For some reason, I just had a friend that came back from Switzerland and I saw her beautiful pictures. And this one just looks like rolling hills to the Alps or whatever. Maybe that's all in my head, but that's what it makes me think about. And then I liked just a gray bike on here. And this one I'm going to keep in a rectangle. You could, you know, cut this out. But I thought that this one, so stamp set from a long time ago, Stepping Stones, Follow Your Own Star. I liked that one. I also like great works are performed not by strength, but perseverance. And this also has dream no small dreams, for they have no power to move the hearts of men. And I thought that was cool too. But anyway, we're going to go with Follow Your Own Star. So I'm going to go landscape again. My goodness. We'll see what the very last card ends up being. It's not looking like the probability is very good, but we'll see. We'll leave the jury out on that one. And that's the one that I ended up having to make a special project because I got so excited about it. All right, so we've got our 4 1/4. Okay. Now this one, though, you know, let's see. If we did this one portrait, where did my bike go? All right, one lost bicycle. There it is. I don't know. Maybe this one has to be portrait because I want to get all of the hills. You know, the hills are alive. Isn't that what they sing in that one movie? You know what? This one I am going to go portrait because I want it taller. Because I think this is just so gorgeous. So let's flip it this way. We're going to keep the part that's got all the flowers. All right, here. We're going to go 5 1/2. Oops, this way. 5 1/2. 5 1/4. Okay. I'm talking this out loud. So, you know, even if you weren't here, I'd be talking this out loud to myself because it's so very easy to get confused, right? All right. And now, though, we have to figure out what is going to go. No. The high side, we're actually got to go to 4 inches on this. All right, cut twice, but at least I can use that for different panels. Now it's to cut this to 5 1/4. And I'm going to just, I guess, lose a little. 5 1/4. We're going to do 5 1/2, and we're going to cut a 1/4 off the bottom. Because I want to make sure we leave that sky. Okay, and we got to cut a 1/4 off down here. And then that should put us at 5 1/4. Yep. All right. So then the question is, do we like this just like this? See, I think it's too much. I think it needs a little background. So let me see what I have here. Now I know where I have a big chunk of old olive actually, and it might be worth getting it, but that's the other room. Let's see. We've got the dark one. We've got pecan pie. Or maybe I've got very vanilla over here. That doesn't look good either, does it? All right. All right, I'm not going to put this on there because what I'm going to do is I will layer it. So before you see the picture, you'll see this layered in either old olive or mossy meadow, because this is mossy meadow. And I'm going to figure out how we're going to do this. Nope, it doesn't fit on there. How we're going to do the sentiment. Well, we might have to put this just on a long piece, and that might be worthy of a background too. So let's go ahead and I think I'm going to make it match the background of the card base here. Okay. Don't want to get too many colors going on. I'm going to kind of go away from the edge a bit so I can decide how much space I want on each side of the sentiment when I bring it together. All right, so we've got our follow your star. And I'm going to layer that up before it's gone. So that will be on here. This will be on here. And then I thought, why not add a little bling up here in the sky to follow your star? All right. So that is card number 3. And now for card number 4, I can't wait to show this one to you, but we're going to actually make it into 3D project. So this one I'm going to be finishing for you, and then it'll be in my pictures after the fact. But let's go to the one that really got me going here. Okay, so the paper, oh gosh, this is from one of the papers I already showed you, I think. Yeah, it is. So I can't tell you which one, but it's from one of the 3 that I just did, okay? And I loved the look of this. And in my mind's eye, I'm seeing, this looks like a Capitol. I'm thinking this is a school and this old broken down fence. Now, if you asked yourself, this is the guessing part, what color bike would you put in this picture? I'd like to see what you think before I show you what I decided to do with it. Anybody, what would you do with a bike image on here, and what color? Remember, this is creativity, using our imagination. What do you think? And then I'm going to show you. Still waiting. What do you think? Can at least one of you guess? What color would you use? And then I'm going to show you how I developed the rest of this. Okay, a crumb cake bike. Ooh, I didn't think of that, Kelly. Excellent idea. Anybody else think of any color they would use? Ooh, I like the possibility of that, Kelly. Anybody else? Yellow or blue. Okay. Yeah, those didn't come to my mind either. Red in front of the tall building. Kathy. Oh my gosh, Kathy, you read my mind. There is, let me put it on here. And I know the scale is off, you know, the big bike, but I liked it in front of the fence. And you know what? The only color that came to my mind, so I'm glad I asked the question because Kelly and Betty, you guys came up with other good ideas. All I could see was red. Okay. So if I were going to do this and make a card like we were making with the other ones, I would use this is early espresso as my card base. And I would cut this down. And this could be landscape, or portrait. It could go either one. But I have to tell you what I found in my, I got all kinds of stashes of this, that, and the other thing. But I was thinking about this and I thought, I think this is so cool that I went digging in my frames. Look at the frame that I found. I'm like, oh, yep, utopia, absolute utopia. And then I came up with, yep, early espresso, 5x7. Just going to put it right there in that frame. Okay. And then now I need to cut up my paper, which I haven't done yet. So, I'm going to kind of estimate where my 5x7 and can I put this in here by, do I want to leave, just so you know, there's a little, you can hardly see it line around here. And if I followed that, that would be about 3/4 inch on that side. Not quite 3/4 on that side. And then up here, 1/2 inch. I'm going to take a 1/2 inch all the way off around here and see what we're looking at, just to get an idea of where we're going. So for this, I like to use the small side of my trimmer to do the 1/2 inch. And let's make sure I've got that straight. And that happens by making sure you have it pushed up against the edge of the trimmer. Okay. So we'll take a 1/2 inch off that side. And we're going to take a 1/2 inch off this side. And a 1/2 inch off this side. And same over here. All right, now let's see what that looks like on our cardstock. All right, so that took that way. All right, I'm just going to cut off the top of this and see what that looks like. And that is another 1/2 inch. Okay, so I think that looks fine. You know, I would make it even on each side. And we've got this going for us. Now, we've got our bike right in the front here. I think I'll keep it right on that paper. And now, you know, the thing is, do you want a sentiment? What does this make you think of? I have to tell you that I think I found the perfect sentiment, or at least I really like this. I found embrace the journey. So this is in the Everyday Arches. Embrace the journey. And for someone that maybe is leaving school, retiring from being a teacher, I think this would all be really cool. Now, I could put a popped up sentiment, but I want the bike to be my focal image. So then the question is, do I even want to put this in red? Do I want to put it in early espresso? Or do I want to do it in probably what would be, you know, basic black? I actually think to make it kind of be there, be a little prevalent, and still leave this the focal point, I'm going to use early espresso. And if I don't like it, I'll cover it up with a sentiment label and, you know, do something else. But let's try it. Because I actually, when I first found this, I thought for sure I'd be doing it in red. But now when I see this all together, I think I want it more on the down low. And there we go. Oh, I like the way it's blending in. So let's do our pop up our bike. And I better glue down my designer series paper. Woo-hoo. Fun. I'm glad I actually didn't finish it before and could do it, you know, in front of you, because this is really fun. So, you know, you guys may want to take up the same hobby I have, and that's going to thrift stores. And I find all kinds of things for my crafting. But I have to tell you, finding picture frames is really something I really, you know, I'm on the lookout for all the time. Because I can make so many gifts. I can also tell my friend, find a 5x7 frame, and I can send this to someone in the mail, and they can have a gift from me, and it'll go through the mail a lot less expensively than if I try to put the frame on it or whatever, especially for my friends that live far away. So just, you know, FYI, different ideas, especially as we're, you know, doing Christmas in July. This month, it's already that time. You may want to start thinking about, you know, if you have friends far away, what you'd like to do, and what can you put in the mail for them. We're going to try to do this seat tiny again. Tiny adhesive. Okay, we'll take that all off. All right. So let's pop this up right in front of the fence there. And there it is in its frame. Oh, wait here. So, what do you think? All right, I'm going to set this off to the side. Just a couple of other things to share with you, but let me get my ink closed. That's always danger, Will Robinson, danger. Okay, so we've got our frame. Oh, I'm glad you like it, Betty. And we've got the other beautiful cards. Okay, and this one I'll be putting together for you yet. Right, we'll just kind of set that there, get the idea. And then we have the projects. You know, gosh, those were gorgeous all on their own, right? So we've got this one. We'll kind of show them a little bit here. And this one here. We don't need to show that. Okay, so like I said, today was really fun. I felt super inspired. Just the memory of bikes and all of that just really made my day. And I think a lot of people, you know, that seems to be whether people are young or old, they are getting into biking. So we've got that. And then now this is kind of looking towards next month. The new tutorial that I'll be offering this month with the $50 purchase through Plum Crazy Stamping is called Scenic Coast. And this is all about lighthouses, sunsets, sailboating, all those things that I don't know about you, but they remind me of Door County in Wisconsin. And I can't wait for my August vacation. But these would be ideas for any kind of landscape. So if you're also digging in your papers to do something with maybe bikes, maybe you can find something to do with these tutorials with your landscape paper as well. So I think this is a wow bonus tutorial, which you would get via email from me at the end of the month. And then lastly, just to let you know, last night we finished a class, which will be available for a couple days here, that you can still purchase because it's recorded. There is a supply list, a written tutorial that has, you know, everything about how to make this. And the front is how to make the fun fold cards that are inside here. And then the back side is all about making the portfolio to keep them in. And then this actually holds 6 cards. And we just slide our ribbon off here. And we slide a belly band off here, which this is one of the 6 cards. It's in a clear envelope. And then we've got all of our fun fold cards with matching envelopes, 5 more of them inside. And that class, it was a customer appreciation special this month for $19.95. And I will keep it at that price. Like I said, just a couple more days here. So if you can see it on Facebook, you'll still be able to order it. If you can't find it and you're interested, just email me at Traci at plumcrazystamping.com, and I'd be happy to send information to you so you could get that class. And for those of you that were in class this afternoon, I will be sending out the video for you so that you have that to watch as many times as you'd like. And I'll resend the tutorial again, just so that you have all that information together. So does anybody have any other questions before we say goodbye today and get on with it with fireworks? Let's hope there's a lot of fireworks. The ones that would be nearest me, well, the ones in my neighborhood, they're always going off, but the ones in downtown Madison are canceled. So I'm not sure where I'm going to watch them from this year, but that's absolutely on my must-do list. So not seeing any questions, folks. So I guess I'll just say, Traci Raether from Plum Crazy Stamping. Have a great 4th of July. Happy stamping, and I'll look forward to seeing you next week. Bye-bye.